Lisa stood alone in the quiet hangar of the human outpost on Series 9. The air smelled of metal and old oil. Around her, tools and crates sat still as if holding their breath-in. The center of the room, on a gray stone stand, rested the armor. It was not human, not even close black as space, with silver lines that pulsed like slow heartbeats. Scientists had found it drifting near a dead moon. No ship, no body, just the armor floating like it was waiting. They warned everyone not to go near it, they said. It reacted to touch. They said it had killed 2 researchers already, but Lisa had always been different. She felt drawn to it like a song. Only she could hear. She just wanted to try it on. Just once. Just to see. Her fingers brushed the chest plate cold at first, then warm. A soft hum filled the room. The armor split open like a flower in sunlight before she could step back. It wrapped around her. It moved fast, smooth and quiet, covering her arms, legs, chest like liquid metal. Then it settled. Still a live voice spoke inside her head, not words but a feeling. She gasped and stepped back. The armor stayed. It felt like her skin now. Like it had always been there. Alarms blare. Dread lights flashed. Boots pounded on metal floors. Guards rushed in, guns raised. Scientists followed, eyes wide with fear. "Get it off her," someone shouted. "It is waking up." Lisa raised her hands to show she meant no harm. But the armor moved on its own. Her right arm shifted. Shape smooth metal formed a long curved blade shining under the hangar lights. Everyone froze as she did not feel scared. She felt calm, strong, like she had been asleep and just opened her eyes. A woman in a white coat stepped forward slowly. Her name was Dr. Helen Morris. She had studied the armor for months. Her hands shook as she looked at Lisa. "That is not possible," she whispered. "The armor only bonds with rig warriors. And they have been gone for 10,000 cycles." Lisa frowned. "What is a Rigolan?" Swallowed hard rig were not human. They were female warriors born from starlight and silence. They protected the galaxy long before humans walked on Earth. They fought a war against something called the Silence, and then they vanished. No bodies, no ships. Just empty armor drifting in space. Lisa looked down at herself. The silver lines on the armor glowed brighter. She felt a pull in her chest, like something deep inside her was answering a call. "Am I one of them?" she asked. Helen shook her head. "You are human, Lisa, but the armor thinks you are rig. And once it bonds, it never lets go." That night they kept her in a locked room. Cameras watched her every move, sensors tracked her heartbeat. But the armor would not come off. It slept with her, breathed with her, whispered in her dreams. She saw stars she had never seen, planets burning, cities falling, a woman with silver eyes standing alone on a broken world. That woman looked like her in the dream. The woman spoke. "You are late, sister. The silence is returning." Lisa woke up sweating. The room was dark, but the armor glowed softly, guiding her. She knew she had to leave. The outpost was quiet. At 0300 hours, guards changed shifts. Sensors blinked slowly. Lisa walked out of her room. The armor hit her heat signature, muffled her steps. She followed the pull in her chest down hallways, through service tunnels. To Bay 7, there sat a small scout ship, old and dusty. No one used it anymore. As she stepped inside, the ship powered on, lights flickered to life. Engines hummed softly. No key, no code. It recognized her. She sat in the pilot seat. The armor connected to the ship like it was part of her. Stars appeared. On the screen, one pulsed brighter than the rest, a dead star system. A broken moon home, the armor whispered. She lifted off. No alarms, no chase. Just silence as she left Series 9 behind. Space stretched out before her, empty and vast. But she did not feel alone. The armor showed her memories, not hers but shared. A great war, a choice, a scattering. The rig did not die. They hid, they planted seeds of themselves in other species, waiting for the right moment, waiting for the silence to return. And now it had weeks passed, or maybe months. Time blurred in the void. Then she saw it, a moon cracked in half, or biting a star that gave no light. Towers of black glass rose from its surface, covered in vines of soft blue light. The ship landed on its own. She stepped out onto the gray dust. The ground glowed where her boots touched. Symbols lit up in circles around her. The ruins knew her. She walked toward the center of the city, past broken statues with silver eyes, past walls covered in writing that made her head ache. In the middle stood a giant arch made of the same black glass. Light pulsed through it like blood. The armor urged her forward. She stepped through. The world changed. She stood on a battlefield under two suns, red and gold warriors in glowing armor fought shadowy creatures that screamed without mouth. Sown warrior turned silver eyes. Your face, you are late, sister. The warrior said. The silence has returned. Memories flooded Lisa, not as thoughts, but as truth. She was not just Lisa. She was Asida, last hope hidden in human form. The armor had woken her. The shadow creatures turned. They sensed the awakening. They charged. Lisa raised her hands. Light erupted from her palms. Not fire, not energy, but song, the song of the rig. The shadows burned away, screaming into nothing. The battlefield faded. He stood again on the broken moon, but now she was not alone. Figures emerged from the ruins, women with silver eyes, wearing armor like hers. But faded, they bowed. You have returned, Rig. Lisa Shea looked at her hands, then at the stars. The human girl was still there. But something older walked with her now. The armor whispered, welcome home, she smiled. The war was not over. It was just beginning on series 9. Dr. Helen watched the empty room. On her screen a signal pulsed from the dead star system. A signal no human could read. But in the old tongue it said, we are back. Lisa walked toward the city. The other rig followed, silent and strong. She was no longer just a girl who tried on armor. She was Rig, and the galaxy would remember their name again. The USS Odyssey drifted in the quiet space near Alpha Centauri. Its lights now steady its hum. Calm inside, the Rig sisters stood together in the engine room. Lisa, Vela, Claire, and Tara, 4 hearts beating in the same rhythm. Tara still wore her engineer uniform, but her eyes held silver. She looked at her hands like they belonged to someone else. I fixed the comms array, she said softly. But then the whispers started. They sounded like my brother. He died when I was 12. Lisa nodded. The silence uses what hurts most to make you stay small. But you fought it? Tara smiled a little. Because something in me knew it was wrong. Like a song out of tune, that was your Rig self, Lisa said. It never sleeps completely. They walked through the ship, checking on the crew, all human still. But safe. The silence had not taken them, only tried in the mess hall. A man sat staring at a photo. His wife and daughter on Earth. He looked up as they entered. You are not human. He said, not as an accusation, but as fact. No, Lisa replied. But we protect humans, she nodded. Thank you. They left him to his thoughts back in the engine room. Lisa placed the redstone from Io on a console. It glowed brighter near the ship's core. This ship is special, she said. It was built with old metal. Rig metal. Vela frowned. Before they vanished, the Rig gave pieces of their ships to early humans, as gifts, as seeds. Most were lost, but some were used. This core has a piece of a Rig heart. Tara touched the console. That is why I felt drawn here. Yes, the stone pulsed again, a new signal, not from a planet, not from a ship, from a person, on a world no human had ever seen. Deep in the Orion spurred. The sisters gathered around the screen, stars mapped in soft light. One blinked red. We have to go. Claire said, but the Odyssey is not fast. Enough, Lisa replied. We need help. She closed her eyes and sang, not loud, just a thread of light sent through the void on Ceres. 9. Dr. Helen felt a warmth in her chest. She looked up, knew what it meant on the broken moon. Kira opened her eyes, smiled, and Earth. Girls who had just woken felt the call ships began to move. Not military, not governments. Mall vessels, private crafts, some barely spaceworthy. Piloted by Rig seeds answering the song. Within hours, 3 ships met the Odyssey, and Orbitone from Marsone, from the asteroid Beltone from Titanic, carried a newly awakened Riga quiet botanist named Liahe, former pilot named Donna, young coder named Maya. They boarded without fear. Lisa greeted them like sisters. We go together now. They transferred to a faster ship, the Starling built by Dana herself, with a core lined with black glass. The Odyssey stayed behind. Its crew would return to Earth with a story they could not explain. The Starling jumped to light. Orion awaited. The journey took 6 days. They used the time to train, not with weapons, but with trust. Lisa taught them to feel each other's light, to blend their songs, to stand as one. Bela showed them how to shape light into shields. Claire taught them to read memory in stone. Tara helped them understand. Machines that sang back. Leah carried seeds from Earth, real seeds. She said the rig would need gardens where they landed. Maya coded a map of all known rig signals. Hundreds now, waking every day. Donna flew with calm hands. She had lost her family to a storm. On Venus now she had a new one. On the 5th day the silence returned, not as shadow, not as whisper silence. The ship went quiet. No hum, no lights, no voices. 7 their thoughts felt muffled. Lisa stood in the center. She knew this was different. The silence was not attacking, it was erasing, making them forget why they were there. Leah dropped her seed, stared at them like she had never seen plants before. Dana let go of the controls. What is this place? Only Lisa held on. She grabbed the red stone, pressed it to her chest and sang not a battle song but a lullaby. The first song every rig learned. Slowly the others blinked. Vela touched her arm. I remember, one by one they came back. The ship hummed again, but the silence had left a mark. The signal from Orion was weaker. They pushed faster. On the 6th day they saw it. A world wrapped in violet clouds, 2 small moons dancing around it. No human had ever charted it, but the rig knew its name. Elysia, home of the first bloom, they landed in a valley of crystal trees, each leaf chimed. In the wind, the air smelled like rain and old stars. The signal came from a cave at the valley's end. They walked together, the ground glowed under their feet. At the cave entrance a figure waited, tall, wearing armor, older than time, face hidden in shadow. Lisa stepped forward. Who are you? The figure removed her helmet, silver eyes, face like Lisa's, but worn with age's mother. The word came from all the sisters at once. The first rig, not dead, not gone, waiting. You took so long, she said, but her voice held no anger. Only relief. We tried to wake sooner. Lisa said, the silence grew clever. It hid its hunger behind peace. She led them inside. The cave was vast, walls covered in living light. In the center floated a sphere, not of water like the well, but of pure silence, contained. This is its heart, she said. We caught it long ago. But it broke free when we scattered. Why did you not destroy it? Because silence is not evil. It is balance, but this one became sick. It forgot how to rest. It only takes, we must teach it again. How? With a new song. Made by all of you. The first rig looked at each sister. You carry human kindness, rig strength, and something new, hop that does not forget paint. Hay formed a circle around the sphere. Lisa began, Vela joined. Then Claire, Tara, Leah, Donna, Maya. Their voices rose, not to fight but to heal. Light filled the cave. The sphere trembled, black threads unwound, replaced by soft gray. The silence sighed, not in defeat, in peace. The first rig smiled. It is done. Outside the violet clouds parted. Sunlight touched the crystal trees. They chimed. Louder. The sisters walked out, changed. The first rig stayed behind. Her work finished, Lisa looked at her new family. Where to now? Earth, Maya said. There are still many who sleep, and many who fear. Leah added, we go back. Dana said, not as warriors, as teachers. They returned to the starling. As they lifted off, Elysia glowed below. A world remembered. On the way home they passed a human freighter lost in a dust storm. They helped it, not with weapons, but with song. The storm parted. The freighter captain stared at them through. Who are you, guardians? Lisa said. He nodded like he understood. They kept flying. Near Mars they found a rig seed waking in a mining colony. A boy this time. The rig had always been female, but the silence had changed things. Now the seeds could be anyone. They welcomed him. His name was Ryan. He joined them. The starling grew crowded but warm, and Earth news spread of strange lights in the sky, of dreams that felt real, of people finding courage they did not know they had. Governments tried to explain. Scientists argued. But children knew. They pointed to the stars and said, they are back. Lisa stood on a hill outside Denver, her sisters around her. The red stone glowed in her hand. More signals came every hour, from every continent, from every ship. The rig were not returning. They were rising, and this time they would not hide. They would teach. They would help. They would sing. The silence would always exist, but it would no longer rule. Because light had learned to share. Lisa looked at the stars, not as a warrior, but as a guide. The galaxy was waking up, and she was ready to walk with it, hand in hand, song and song, heart in heart. The end. Lisa stood among the rig women on the broken moon. Their silver eyes watched her, not with suspicion but with quiet hope. The wind carried dust that shimmered like stardust. The armor hummed against her skin. Warm and steady, she felt their thoughts not in words but in pulses of shared memory. They had waited 10,000 cycles for this moment. One of the women stepped forward, taller than the rest. Her armor was cracked but still glowed faintly blue. Her name came to Lisa not as sound, but as knowing Kira. You carry the last seed she sent. Kira's voice echoed inside Lisa's mind. The silence took our worlds one by one. We scattered before it could take our souls. You were hidden among humans to survive. Lisa looked down at her hands. So I am not just human, you are both, Kira replied. Human heart rig soul. That is why the armor chose you. The group moved toward the heart of the city. Through corridors of black glass that sang when touched. Walls showed moving images of ancient battle stars exploding, fleets vanishing, into dark clouds. The silence was not empty. It was hungry. They entered a wide chamber with a pool of liquid light in the center. The surface rippled, though no wind blew. Kira gestured for Lisa to step forward. The pool will show you what you must do. Lisa knelt as her fingers touched the light. Images flooded her mind. She saw Earth not as it was, but as it would be. Cities' dark skies choked with black mist, people moving like shadows with no eyes. The silence had already begun to spread. It started with whispers, in dreams, then voices in empty rooms, then the vanishing first animals, then children, then whole towns gone with no trace. The humans did not know. They called it a plague or a glitch, but the rig knew better. The silence was testing, reaching through the void, searching for weakness. And Earth was soft, unprotected. Lisa pulled her hand back, gasping. We have to warn them. Kira shook her head. Warning will not help. Fear feeds the silence. Only light can push it back. But how? The rig do not fight with guns or ships. We fight with presence, with song, with memory. Kira pointed to the sky. The silence moves through gaps between stars. It cannot cross where rig stands. Oh, we must stand everywhere. Lisa understood. They would not build armies. They would awaken others like her. Scattered seeds, hidden in human bodies, waiting for the call. The pool showed more. A girl in Tokyo touching a strange stone, a woman in Nairobi, hearing a hum in the rain, a child in Buenos Aires drawing symbols she had never seen. They were all rigs leaping. Lisa stood. He will find them. Kira nodded. But be careful. The silence knows you are awake. It will try to stop you. They gave her a small crystal that pulsed with soft light. It would guide her to the next seed and protect her from the silence's whispers. Lisa returned to her ship. The other rig watched in silence, their eyes full of trust. She flew toward the nearest beacon, a signal coming from a small town in Colorado. The journey took 3 days. Earth grew larger and the viewport blue and green and fragile as she entered. The atmosphere, the armor shifted. It covered her less, looked more like a sleek suit than battle gear. It knew humans would panic if they saw a warrior. She landed in a field outside town. The crystal glowed brighter. She walked into town under a setting. Sun people passed her on the street. No one noticed the silver lines under her skin. The signal led her to a high school. A girl sat alone on the bleachers after practice. Brown hair tied back, eyes tired. But sharp. Her name was Mia. Lisa sat beside her. Himia looked up, startled. Do I know you? Not yet, Lisa said. She showed her the crystal. Mia's eyes widened. I had a dream about that last night. I saw a woman with silver eyes. She said my name was not Mia, it was Mira. Lisa smiled. It still is, but you are also Rig. Mia stood up fast. This is crazy. The armor on Lisa's arm shimmered just for a second. Enough for Mia to see Mia. Gaspedi felt that hum in her chest, a memory. Not hers. Lisa took her hand. You are not alone. At that moment, the streetlights flickered. Shadows stretched. Too long, the air grew cold. The silence had found them. Mia looked around, scared. What is that? It is testing us, Lisa said. Stay calm. She closed her eyes, sang softly. Not with her voice, but with her soul. Light spread from her chest, warm and golden. The shadows shrank back. Mia watched in awe. Then she felt it too, a song inside her. She joined Lisa. Their voices blended. The light grew stronger. The street returned to normal. But they both knew it was only the beginning. Come with me, Lisa said. Mia hesitated. What about my family? They will be safer if you go. The silence will keep looking for you here. But with us you can learn to protect them. Mia looked at her house in the distance. then back at Lisa. Okay. They returned to the ship. As they lifted off, Mia touched the wallet, felt alive. Where are we going to find the others? Over the next weeks, they traveled the world guided by the crystal in Tokyo. They found Aiko, a quiet librarian who spoke 7 languages. She had nightmares of falling stars. When Lisa showed her the crystal, Aiko cried. She remembered her true name, Elleraine Nairobi. They met Zoe, a doctor who healed with her hands and her heart. She had always felt the pain of others too deeply. Now she understood why. She was Nira of the Twin Rivers. Each girl awakened. Each added her light to theirs. They did not wear armor all the time. Only when the silence came close, they learned to sing together. Their combined presence pushed back the dark, but the silence grew stronger too. On night over the Atlantic Ocean, their ship shuddered. Black clouds formed where no storm should be. The crystal Demeted is here, Lisa said. A shape formed in the clouds. Not solid, not real, but full of hunger, it reached for the ship with fingers of smoke. Mia screamed. Zoe held her hand. Aiko began to sing. Lisa stood at the front, armor fully formed, blade ready. But she did not attack. Instead, she opened her arms and sang the oldest song. The song of the first rig light exploded from the ship, pure and white. The shape screamed and shattered. The clouds vanished. But Lisa fell. To her knees, exhausted. It is learning, she whispered. It knows our song back on the broken moon. Kira waited. She had felt the battle. You cannot fight it alone. She told Lisa through the crystal, we are not alone. Lisa replied, but you are still. Few Kira showed her a new vision, a place deep in the asteroid belt. A hidden vault where the rig stored their last weapon. Not a bomb, not a gun, a seed. The first seed, the one that started them all. If you plant it in the heart of the silence, it will bloom. And the silence will forget how to be dark, but someone must stay with it, to feed it with song until it grows. It is a one-way trip. Lisa looked at her friends. Mia, Zoe, Aiko, all watching her. I will go, she said. No, Mia cried. We go together. Kira nodded. The seed needs many voices. They prepared the ship, loaded it with light and memory. Before they left, Lisa sent one message to Earth, not through radio, but through dream. To every sleeping rig, she whispered, wake up. Across the planet, girls opened their eyes, felt the hum, knew their true names. A rig were rising. The ship flew into the asteroid belt, past rocks and ice, to a cave hidden behind a spinning comet. Inside floated the seed, a small sphere of pure light pulsing like a heart. They placed it in the center of the ship. Each took a seat around it. Lisa began to sing. The others joined. The ship turned toward the source of the silence, a black hole at the edge of known space. Where light went to die as they flew closer, the silence fought back. Shadows filled the cabin. Whispers tried to break their focus. Zoe saw her family vanish. Aiko heard her languages turn to screams. Mia felt her body dissolve, but they held on. Lisa felt the armor burn. It was giving all its power to the seed, almost there. She said. The black hole loomed ahead, not empty but full of teeth. They flew straight in. Darkness swallowed them. For a moment there was nothing. Then Lisa sang one last note. The seed bloomed. Light filled the void. Not harsh, not loud, but gentle like dawn. The silence did not scream. It sighed and let go. The black hole turned. Blue stars formed around it. New worlds began to spin. The rig ship floated in the center. Silent, Lisa opened her eyes. The others were gone, not dead but changed. They had become part of the light. Only she remained in body. The armor was gone. But she still glowed. She flew back toward Earth, not as a warrior, but as a guide. On the broken moon, Kira smiled. The song was heard. On Series 9, Dr. Helen looked up at the sky. The stars were brighter. In Tokyo, Aiko's sister felt a warmth in her chest. In Nairobi, a child laughed at a dream. In Colorado, Mia's mother woke up humming. The silence was not gone, but it was afraid because the rig were awake, and they sang together. Lisa landed her ship in a green field, Earth safe for now. She walked into the trees, not to hide but to wait. More would come, more would wake, and she would be ready. The galaxy breathed easy. For the first time in 10,000 years, it was not alone. Lisa stood on the hill outside Denver watching the sunrise. The sky turned gold and pink. The air smelled like rain and pine. Around her, her sisters sat in a loose circle. Viola Claire, Tara, Leah, Dana, Maya, and Rihanna all quiet, all listening. The red stone, in Lisa's pocket, hummed softly, not with a new signal, but with a question. What now? They had healed the silence's heart on Elysia. They had awakened hundreds of rig seeds across Earth and beyond. They had shown humans that they were not alone in the dark, but peace was not the end. It was the beginning. Down in the city, people moved through their days. Some still whispered about lights in the sky. Others laughed it off. Life went on, but Lisa knew better. The silence was quiet now, but other things stirred. In the deep old things, hungry things that had watched the rig war from the edges, and they were curious. A breeze touched her cheek, carried a scent not of earth but of metal and cold stars. She turned to the others. Did you feel that? Viola nodded. Something is coming, not silence. Not shadow, something with eyes. They gathered their things. Left the hill. In the days that followed, strange reports came in. A fishing boat off Iceland saw a shape under the waves. Not a whale, not a sub, something smooth and black that a telescope in Chile caught a flicker near Pluto. Not a comet, not an asteroid, a ship with no heat signature. A child in Kansas drew a picture of a tall being with too many joints and wrote beneath it, "They are watching." Lisa knew they had to act. Not with fear, but with readiness. They called a meeting at the vault on Erik. From all over answered. Not just the awakened seeds, but those who had been awake longer, hiding in plain sight. A teacher in Oslo, mechanic in Cape Town, dancer in Mumbai. All came. The vault glowed with their light. Lisa stood before them. We thought the silence was the only threat, but the galaxy is older than we remember, and not all that watches is kinda. Woman named Elin stepped forward. Her armor showed scars from a battle no human knew about. My grandmother told stories, she said, of the hollow ones, beings who wear stolen faces, who feed on wonder. They do not take minds like the silence. They take joy, leave you empty but smiling. Lisa felt a chill. Have they come here? Not yet. But they are. Near the group fell silent. Then Ryan spoke soft but clear. We do not have to fight them. We just have to remember. Louder. Lisa smiled. Yes, they made a plan, not to hide, not to arm, but to share. They would spread stories, songs, memories, fill the world with so much light and laughter that the hollow ones would have nothing to steal. Planted gardens in city centers, flowers that glowed at night. Children gathered to watch them bloom. Maya built a network not for data, but for dreams. People could send songs to each other across oceans. Dana flew her ship low over towns, not to scare but to show. Her lights painted the sky with colors no one had seen. Tara fixed old radios, made them play lullabies in rig tongue. Mothers hummed them without knowing why. Claire walked into schools, told stories of stars that sang back. Kids drew pictures of rig warriors with their own faces. Vela stood on mountaintops, sang to the wind, and the wind carried her voice everywhere. Lisa stayed in the center, her light a steady flame. One night she felt it. The hollow ones had arrived. Not with ships, not with noise. They walked among humans wearing faces they had copied from dreams, smiling, kind offering gifts. A man in Seattle gave away music boxes that played perfect songs, but those who listened forgot how to make their own. A woman in Cairo handed out mirrors that showed your best self, but those who looked forgot their flaws and with them their strength. Lisa gathered her sisters. We meet them with truth. They went to Seattle first, found the man by the pier, his eyes too still, his smile too wide. Lisa walked up to him. Play me a song. He opened his box. Perfect melody filled the air. People stopped to listen, faces going slack. Lisa closed her eyes and sang, not better, not louder, just real. Her voice cracked. She missed a note, but it was hers. A child nearby gasped, started humming along off key but happy. The music box flickered. The man's smile slipped. You cannot have it back, he whispered. I do not want it back. Lisa said, I never lost it. She took the box, held it gently, and sang to it. Light filled the small device. It changed. Now it played the child's hum. The man stepped back. His face blurred, then vanished, leaving only a pile of gray dust. They went to Cairo next. The mirror woman stood in a market square. Crowds gathered around her. Lisa looked into the mirror. It showed her as a perfect warrior. No fear, no doubt, but she shook her head. That is not me. She touched the glass and whispered her fears. I am tired. I miss my old life. I am scared I will fail. The mirror cracked, then showed her True-faced hired brave human in rig, the crowd murmured. One woman touched her own cheek. I'm not perfect either, she said louder rose. The mirror woman faded. The hollow ones learned quickly. They stopped showing themselves, but the rig were ready. They taught people to trust their own voice, to love their own mess in classrooms, kitchens, parks. Light grew not the bright light of battle, but the warm light of home. One evening, Lisa sat with Ryan on a rooftop in Chicago. Do you think they are gone? No, Ryan said, but they are hungry for something we cannot give. Emptiness cannot eat fullness, Lisa nodded. The galaxy will always have shadows, but we are not just light. We are lanterns. They kept watch, not with weapons, but with welcome. When a new rig seed woke, they were there. When a human felt lost, they sang nearby. The hollow ones tried once more. On a space station near Jupiter, they took the form of lost loved ones, offered peace without pain. But the crew had learned. We keep our pain. Ryan told the shape that looked like his dead father. It is part of our song. The shape wept black tears and dissolved after that. The hollow ones left, not defeated but full of questions. Perhaps wonder was not food, but a gift. The rig let them go. They had their own path. Lisa returned to Earth, stood again. On the hill outside Denver, the redstone was quiet, but the world hummed. Children played in Leah's gardens. Maya's network carried 1,000 songs. Dancers in Mumbai moved like stars. The rig were not rulers, not saviors, just reminders. You are not alone, you are enough, you belong. Lisa looked up. The stars watched back, not as distant lights but as family. Somewhere a girl touched a strange rock and felt a hum. Somewhere a boy heard a song in the rain and sang along. The rig would always be there, not in armor, but in kindness, in courage, in the quiet choice to keep singing. Even when the dark listens, Lisa smiled and walked down the hill toward the next voice that needed to be heard. The end. Lisa walked through the quiet forest near the edge of Colorado. The trees whispered in a language only she could feel now, not with her ears, but with the light still humming in her bones. The armor was gone, but its song remained. She wore simple clothes, jeans and a soft blue shirt, but her eyes held silver when the sun hit them just right. Weeks had passed since the bloom at the black hole Earth was healing. The silence had not returned, but Lisa knew it was only resting. The seed had pushed it back, not destroyed it. Darkness like that could not die, only sleep. And while it slept, the rig had to grow. She stopped by a clear stream and knelt. The water showed her face, human still, but deeper now. Old Dara rustle in the bushes made her turn. A girl stood there. No, older than 16, dark curly hair, wild eyes. She held a backpack and looked like she had been running for days. You are her, the girl said. Voice shaking, the one who sings. Lisa nodded. What is your name? They call me Nora. But last night in my dream, someone called me Viola. Lisa smiled. That is your true name. Nora stepped closer. I heard the others. The ones who woke up. They said you would help. Lisa stood. He will. But it will not be easy. Nora swallowed. I do not care. The whispers started last month. First just in my room, then in school, then in my head, telling me to forget sleep, to stop fighting. That is the silence testing you, Lisa said. It wants you to give up so it can take your light. Nora clenched her fists. I will not let it. Good. Lisa led her to a small cabin hidden in the woods. It was not hers, but it felt right. The walls were lined with old books and strange crystals, a gift from Kira through Dream Inside. Nora sat on a wooden chair. Her hands trembled. How do I wake up fully? She asked. You already are, Lisa said. You just need to remember. She placed a hand on Nora's chest. Close your eyes. Nora obeyed. Lisa sang softly. Not loud, just a hum. The same note that had bloomed. The seed light filled the room. Warm and golden. Nora gasped. Images flashed behind her eyes. A city of glass under 3 moons, a battle on a frozen sea. A woman with her face standing guard at the edge of forever. I remember, she whispered. The rig did not just fight the silence. They kept memory alive. Every song, every story, every star name. They held it all, and now Nora held it too. When she opened her eyes, they were silver. Lisa nodded. Welcome, Viola. Over the next days they trained. Not with weapons, but with presence. Lisa taught her to feel the silence before it came. To sing not with fear, but with calm. To stand, not to run. Vela learned faster light was strong. One evening as the sun set, they sat on the porch. You think the others are safe, she asked. The ones who woke, yes. But many still sleep, and the silence is getting smarter. How it is not just whispering. Anymore it is pretending, Lisa explained. In some places it takes the shape of loved ones, tells them to stay, to hide, to be normal. It uses kindness to trap them. Vela frowned. Then we have to be fasterious. The crystal on the table pulsed a new signal. Not from Earth, from Mars. A human colony there had gone dark 3 days ago. No calls, no signals, just static. But the crystal heard a hum beneath the static, a rig seed waking in fear. They packed quickly, took a small shuttle hidden in a cave nearby. It was not fancy, but it flew as they left the atmosphere. Lisa looked back at Earth, green and blue and full of sleeping light. We will come back, she said. Vela nodded. I know the trip to Mars took 2 days. The red planet looked quiet. Too quiet. They landed near the main dome. The airlock was open inside. Lights flickered, shadows moved where no one stood. Lisa stepped in first. Armor did not return, but her skin glowed faintly. Vela followed, blade forming on her arm from pure light. They found the colonists in the central hall, sitting in circles, eyes open but empty, breathing but not alive. The silence had taken their minds, not their bodies. In the corner, a girl crouched behind a console, curly red hair, freckless, shaking. Lisa approached slowly. It is okay. We are here to help. The girl looked up, tears in her eyes. It showed me my mom. She whispered. She said to stay, to be good, but my mom died last year. Lisa knelt. What is your name? Claire. And your rig name? The girl hesitated. I think it is Saren. Lisa smiled. Then trust Saren. She held out her hand. Claire took it. Lisa began to sing. Vela joined her. Light spread through the hall. The colonists blinked, confused, then cried as memory returned. But the shadows in the corners hissed. The silence was here. It formed a shape, tall and thin, with too many arms. It did not speak. It pulled, trying to drag their light away. Lisa stood firm. Vela raised her blade. Claire closed her eyes and sang her first note. It was weak but true. The shape screamed and shattered. The dome light steadied. Claire stood up taller. I felt it. She said my song. Lisa nodded. You are one of us now. They stayed one night, helped the colonists remember who they were, taught them to watch for whispers before they left. Claire gave Lisa a small red stone. It glowed when I held it, she said. I think it is for you. Lisa took it. Warm in her palm, back in orbit. The stone pulsed with a new signal. Not Mars, not Earth, Jupiter. One of its moons, volcanic and dangerous. But the signal was strong. They changed course. As they flew, Lisa studied the stone. This is not just a beacon, she said. It is a key to what of the vault. The rig did not just scatter seeds. They built places to keep their knowledge safe, hidden in the solar system. Yo held one. The shuttle shook as they entered Io's atmosphere. Ash and fire filled the sky. Lava rivers glowed below. The signal led them to a mountain taller than any on Earth. At its peak, a cave pulsed with blue light. They landed on a narrow ledge inside. The cave walls were covered in moving symbols, the same ones from the broken moon. Claire's stone fit into a slot in the floor. The ground opened, stairs led down. They walked for what felt like hours. At the bottom, a room waited, spherical and silent. The center floated a sphere of water, not still but swirling with stars inside. The memory. Well, Lisa whispered. Vela stepped closer. What is it? All the rig songs, all the names, all the battles, all the hopes. Touch it, and you remember everything. Claire reached out. Their fingers brushed the surface. Light filled her eyes. She saw the first rig born from a dying star. She saw the Great Council before the silence came. She saw Lisa standing alone at the black hole. When she pulled back, she was crying. I understand now, she said. So do I, Lisa said. The silence was not just an enemy. It was a wounded tear in the fabric of memory. The rig were not just warriors. They were healers. Their song did not destroy. It reminded the universe that it was whole, that it was loved, that it mattered. Vela touched the well. Next, their vision showed her standing on a world of ice, singing. As glaciers turned to gardens, she too understood. They stayed in the vault for days learning, remembering. Then the well showed them something new. A signal from beyond the solar systems. Stronger than any before. A rig waking. Not on a planet, but on a ship. A human ship lost near Alpha Centauri, the U.S. Odyssey. Missing for 6 months, now calling for help in a language only Rig could har. They had to go, but first Lisa placed her hand on the well. She sang a new song, not of war, not of fear, but of welcome. The well glowed brighter. The vault would stay open now, a safe place for any Rig who needed it. They returned to the shuttle. Claire and Vela sat in the back, Lisa at the control. As they left Io behind, the red stone glowed in her pocket. Earth, Mars, Io, the Rig were returning home by home. The U.S. Odyssey waited in the dark between starsuits. Crew was human, but one of them was not. A young engineer named Tarashe had been fixing the comms array when the silence came. It showed her brother alive again. He had died. In a crash years ago. Stay with me, it said in his voice. Do not leave. But Tara felt something deeper, a hum in her blood. A name she had never heard. Lee Rash fought the voice. Hid in the engine room, sent a signal not in human code but in pulse. And Lisa heard. The shuttle jumped to faster than light stars blurred. 3 days later, they found the Odyssey, drifting dark. They boarded through an airlock. The ship was cold but alive in the engine room. Tara sat surrounded by wires and tool, her eyes wide with fear. You came, she whispered. Lisa nodded. We always come. Tara stood. Do not know what is happening to me. You are waking up, Lisa said. Vela and Claire stood behind her, their light soft but strong. Tara looked at them, and for the first time, did not feel alone. Lisa held out her hands, and with Ustara took a breath, and sang. The ship lights came on, not from power, from memory. The Rig were no longer scattered. They were together, and the silence would not win. Not this time. Lisa looked at her sisters, human faces, Rig souls. They had a long way to go, but they were ready. The galaxy watched, and for the first time in 10,000 years, it smiled.